The Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation will meet in a regular meeting in the Gun Barrel City Council chambers located at 1716 West Main Street, Gun Barrel City, Texas 75156 on Tuesday, October 8th, 2019 at 5 p.m. Call to order, and it is 5 p.m. straight up. Gary, you want to do the invocation?
Yeah.
If we could stand for the invocation and Pledge of Allegiance.
Lord, we gather here to do the business of the city. Please watch over this board and guide us in the decisions that we make. Additionally, please keep watch over our first responders and those who protect us while we sleep or while we are awake, our police, our fire, and our military overseas. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call from my left.
Kyle here.
Foster here.
Butler here.
Damiano here.
Merritt here.
Lawrence here.
And we do have a quorum. And citizens' presentations limited to 3 minutes. This item provides the opportunity for citizens to address the EDC Board of Directors on any matter, whether it is or not posted on the agenda. However, in accordance with the Texas Open Meetings Act, Section 551.041, the EDC Board of Directors cannot discuss, deliberate, or take action on matters not listed on the agenda. At this time, the board will receive citizen comments and, if necessary, may refer the matter to the EDC staff for research, resolution, or referral to the EDC board for a future agenda. Any comments?
Yes, one, Mr. David Skeens.
Mayor Skeens?
Thank you, Madam President. EDC Board, I appreciate the opportunity to speak with you all tonight. Had a council meeting a couple of weeks ago, and I had a lot of folks that came and spoke to us. And I wanted to come out and personally publicly thank Mr. Kyle for pointing out that we have a lot of people that came and were trying to sway which way our council voted, that we're not citizens of the city. We looked into that, and we have since put forth a proposal that we will have in a special meeting on Monday, this coming Monday, that we will change our citizen comment section, and I wanted to let the EDC board know that we're doing that to where it will read Gun Barrel City citizen presentation. Okay, so it'll be citizens of Gun Barrel only that will be doing these citizen comments, as it is in most of the cities in the state of Texas. Along with the new laws that changed in the state of Texas, where citizens can speak towards agenda items, as well as just comment section. So I just wanted to thank Mr. Kyle for bringing that to my attention, that we were allowing folks from outside the city, maybe outside the state, we don't know, trying to have an influence on the way that we were looking to spend our money. So, you know, it's this open communication that helps makes things work. So I wanted to come in and thank you, Joe, for doing that, to give us that open communication piece, and I do appreciate it. So we're acting on it, and on the 22nd, we should have a vote on it. We'll see how the council votes on it, but we do have a new ordinance and some changes that'll be coming forth because of that. So, thank you.
Can I ask a clarification question? I know. Well, it's just a clarification question on something you said. You said the laws changed where they can speak against agenda items? Yes. Does that mean at the time the agenda item comes up, or any time? Does that mean at the time the agenda comes up on the agenda, or at the beginning of the meeting?
At the time the agenda item comes up.
Really? Okay. Thank you.
Item number 1, discuss or take action to approve and recommend to City Council approve the EDC meeting minutes of September 10th, 2019, and the EDC workshop minutes from September 30th, 2019. Do I have a motion to approve?
I make a motion that we approve and recommend to the City Council approve the EDC meeting minutes of September 10, 2019, and the EDC workshop minutes of September 30th, 2019.
I'll second that.
Any comments? Vote from my left.
Kyle, yes.
Foster, yes.
Butler, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Merritt, yes.
Lawrence, yes.
Item number 2, discuss and/or take action to approve and recommend that City Council approve the August 2019 EDC month-end financial report. Motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve and recommend that the City Council approve the August 19th EDC financial report.
Second.
Any comments? Vote for my left.
Kyle, yes.
Foster, yes.
Butler, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Merritt, yes.
Lawrence, yes.
Item number 3, open public hearing. In accordance with Texas Local Government Code 505.159, a public hearing will be held by the Gun Barrel City Economic Development Corporation, a Type B corporation, on Tuesday, October 8th, 2019 at 5 p.m. in the Gun Barrel City Chambers, located at 1716 West Main Street, Gun Barrel City, Texas 75156. This is for financial assistance not to exceed $100,000 for Project ICE. Can I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Second.
I'm sorry? Okay, open to the public. Any comments? All right. Okay, and we will be closing item number 3, the open public hearing. Item number 4, discuss and/or take action to approve the recommended City Council approve a loan to Project ICE in the amount not to exceed $100,000. Motion?
I move that we take action to approve and recommend that the City Council approve a loan to Project ICE in an amount not to exceed $100,000.
Second.
Comment? Oh, I'm sorry. Comments?
Yeah, a couple of questions. Is there somebody here from that project?
No, she is not able to make it today.
Oh. Well, I'm looking at the package, and there's no performance agreement. And that's something that the board has to approve before it goes anywhere. So that's one of the problems I have. But I have a couple of other questions that I don't really have answers to.
I will address that, Gary.
Okay.
I have had so much difficulty with the board and everybody wanting to add something to the performance agreement. They're going back to Jeff 15 times. So what I've done with the last one is ask Missy to read it, and then I moved it on to the City Council.
So the board never saw it?
Missy saw it.
But the board never saw
No.
it? Okay.
The performance agreement is not completed. This project will not be funded until the end of November. Our 60 days from the time the public hearing notice was given, I think, Walter, is the end of November? Yeah. So this project will not be funded till December 1st. Jeff has begun the performance agreement. We should have that next week sometime. Okay. And in the performance agreement needs to be that they will retain 9 jobs in Gun Barrel City, and they will stay in Gun Barrel City until the loan is paid off.
They referenced in their business plan that at the end of the second year, sometime during the second year, they were going to move. Do you happen to know the address of that building that they're moving to?
I do not know the address, but it is in Gun Barrel City.
Okay, we should probably verify that.
I have.
It's on some property they own, and from what she said, they had previously operated a business there, and that had paid sales tax to the city. I believe it was a son or son-in-law. So she's quite confident, and with the way the performance agreement will be set up, it'll require that it stay there. So if there were any problems, we could go back to them and say that, you know, this is an issue.
No, I understand that, and my only concern is that in their business synopsis, they said they planned on moving it in the second year. And I just wanted to make sure that it was in Gun Barrel City.
That's a very good question.
Yes.
Yeah, pardon?
That's a very good question.
Thank you. The other question I have is that this loan is being guaranteed by whom? There's a guarantee on the loan. I know. I remember that much.
So you're talking about the collateral?
The collateralized, yeah.
So I actually received from Ms. Strickland, we had a brief conversation about this, an email. This is just some early preparation of it, but what they're going to go with is an account they have with Edward Jones, and I'll pass this along, but they have an account valued at about $165,000.
Okay, so my question on that is the individual guaranteeing or collateralizing the loan, is that individual part of the LLC?
Is that again?
Is that individual part owner in the LLC?
Yes, it's the woman. It's her and then her LLC.
Okay. I'm assuming there'll be something in the performance agreement that somehow ties that account as collateral
Yes, that's
so that it can't be liquidated or
yeah.
otherwise moved?
If that's an
Actually-
investment account, it could go down real easily.
Actually, in here it says that these are provided to you for collateral. We are going to utilize some Edward Jones securities that her husband owns. Is the husband part of the LLC?
Yep.
And that as a signed agreement that he will do it. Okay. Okay.
So is there documentation to substantiate that so that it can't be liquidated and used elsewhere? Okay, and I'm only asking these questions because there's no performance agreement, that's all.
So we would have the performance agreement before us next month?
What I have asked Missy perhaps to do is try to find 2 or 3 of you who will read it so it doesn't have to go through all 7 with everybody's comments. So what I'd like to have is a small group that will look at the performance agreement and say it's okay.
And maybe we could also have everybody on the board write out a list of what they would like to see and come up with a common agreement, and then that's what we can go on from here forth.
That would be wonderful. Our attorney puts everything in the agreement that he believes that we need, and if somebody has other things that they would like to see, if they put together what they want to see, we'd sure make that happen.
All right.
Well, then, my question is, and I don't think it should happen, I don't think it should go to City Council until we've had a chance to review the performance agreement. Okay?
Can we not come to a middle ground and say that we can approve the project, but we won't approve the funding until we have a performance agreement?
Say that again, please.
We will not fund the project. We never fund a project because the performance agreement is all finished.
Finished and approved.
By the city council or by you.
It's never been an and/or thing. It's always been by us first.
We can't go back to the attorney 15 times. If there's something you want in the performance agreement, write it down and make sure it's there.
Any other questions? I would suggest that we go ahead and approve the project with the limiting of the funds until we do have an agreed upon performance agreement.
Is that part of the motion? Is there what's the motion on the table right now? I've actually forgotten.
Discuss and or take action to approve and recommend that the City Council approve a loan to Project ICE in the amount not to exceed $100,000. So we can go ahead and approve the project with the...
We should actually amend the motion to
Okay.
reflect that there.
Yeah.
I would accept that as a friendly amendment.
Yeah, that no funds get distributed, huh?
9 jobs need to be there, and they're staying and paying sales tax in Gunbrel State needs to be in that motion.
And there's,
Okay.
Say that again, please.
Job numbers, they're retaining 9 jobs, and that they are staying
Well, there's 9 existing jobs right now. There's 9 existing jobs right now, correct? They have to keep those, and I would think that would already be in the performance agreement, that the jobs number stays the same. They're projecting that they have additional jobs within the next 2 or 3 years.
We are staying with the 9, that they keep those there. This is a business retention project.
Okay.
So the 9 jobs they have, we want them to keep that, and we want them to continue staying in Gumbel City and fixing all that.
Okay, so I'm in the motion to approve the project ICE with the subject to them continuing to have 9 jobs, possibly bringing in more in the next 2 years, and staying in Gun Barrel City.
And that the
And that
performance agreement gets reviewed
the performance
by the
agreement gets approved by the EDC.
Second?
Vote, discussion. Are we good on that?
Yep.
All right, vote for my left.
Kyle, yes.
Foster, yes.
Butler, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Merritt, yes.
Lawrence, yes.
All right. And item number 5, discuss and/or take action to approve and recommend that the City Council approve budget amendment for the 2020 fiscal year.
So
Motion.
I'll make a motion that we present and approve the budget for the City Council to approve the budget amendment for the 2019 fiscal year.
2020.
I need a second.
Second.
All right, Walter, did you have something to say?
Yes, I was just going to go over what all is involved in the budget amendment. This one is rather involved. They can be broadly summarized into 2.5, 3 categories. The single biggest one, and we had Mr. Kyle in last week to go over this one in particular in depth with us, is simply giving more specificity to certain sections. In the past, the budget has been rather sparse on line items and what will go to what. This will enable a smoother action. It doesn't require as much going back and forth for minor things, and it's a fairly common practice and everything, so it should be fairly self-explanatory and easier to read and follow in more ways than one. Second part is shifting for Badge LLC. Just go ahead and having that in with as we approve the project so that can go there. And then some moving of some funds, taking them and putting them in better spots. For example, last fiscal year we didn't come close to 20 facade grants, and it's probably more useful for there to be a portion of that taken and added to future projects where we can use it or more likely to use it.
Any questions?
What is the line item for Elder Dodge? Is that the second of 2 payments?
Yes. So it's 5 years, $100,000 a year.
What's that for?
Say that again?
What's that for?
Elder Dodge?
Yeah, elders. That's what I thought.
Any other discussion
Yeah,
questions?
I didn't see the barbecue place on there.
Slapping good?
Yeah,
Well, that's a good.
It's not on here.
nor did I see Golden Chicken.
Those were,
Those are pre-approved prior to this budget.
well, I believe,
We funded Golden Chick already.
yeah, both of those have already been funded.
Slapping good. So that is, we have cut checks.
And that was done last fiscal year.
So those will actually show up on last month's bank statements. So those have been funded.
Okay. But wouldn't that? Was that okay? Are you saying that was funded in 2000?
That was funded 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, not within this budget cycle, as in last budget. Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, if we've missed something, that's a good question to ask.
Go ahead.
I see about $250,000 negative outflow. What's the, any precedent on that, or is that common?
So that's what we have been at this budget, previous budget. Mr. Peterson can speak to where it was the previous budget before that. We don't spend nearly as much as what it shows in the budget. I don't have an exact figure for how much we went over last year, but these are just numbers, most of them with a little cushion, so we won't come close to that.
we are allowed 10% of the sales tax money. If you have remaining money at the end of the year, you are able to roll that in with 10%, which is what makes it $76,000. I got here, it was somewhere around $45,000. And so we've kept that marketing money going in the right direction in order that we can do some things we haven't done before.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I'm looking at is, yeah, we've got almost $250,000 over what we have coming in revenue. I was surprised to see that Big Chief Landing is costing us $100,000 a year, when our goal is to do something with it. That surprised me. But some of the committed projects that we've got, between all of that, and that's not counting, that's $550,000, and not counting consultants, rent, office costs, and so forth. Right. I'm wondering if we're getting the biggest bang for our buck.
So what are you wanting to say with this? What do you want changed?
Who, me? Mm-hmm. I'm not suggesting that we change anything on it right now.
All right.
Okay.
Well, can we have a vote
We will bring it up.
or a motion? Any more discussion?
One
Okay.
question. Under the Big Chief Landing, the $85,000, is that a code question or a requirement?
Code question. So what you're looking at with Big Chief is that property was purchased by the EDC several years ago. We're still making loan payments on it. It's dissected. You can see that total sum dissected into several different numbers. I believe it's around $50,000 for the principal, $14,000-15,000 for interest. Then there's some money put in for repairs. We did some last year. It appears some may be needed again this year. So those are the main constituent parts of it.
Yeah, and I guess my concern on that is we have a committee that's supposed to be looking at Big Chief, which hasn't met in months, to come up with a solution or come up with ideas or go forward with what was the original plan.
I have been told by the Gun Barrel City leadership that when Big Chief was bought, it was agreed that a convention center would be built on that property and it would be turned back to the city.
I don't disagree with that.
And we have been working to try and get 3 bids, not one, for a 20,000 square foot convention center.
Okay?
The Big Chief project is on the City Council's agenda for the 22nd. They're going to have that discussion and let us know what they think coming out of that. Whether or not they're going to hold us to the agreement that the EDC made when they bought the property.
Well, I mean, I guess the thing has always been is that we either go ahead with a convention center or we go back to City Council and say, hey, here's why we are going ahead with it or why we are not going ahead with it.
I think it's going to go the other way. I think the council is going to have a discussion and tell us what they want us to do.
Madam Chairman, I make a motion that we accept the budget, 2020 fiscal year budget.
Yeah, I'll second it.
All right. Vote for my left.
Kyle, yes.
Foster, yes.
Butler, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Merritt, yes.
Lawrence, yes.
All right. Item number 6, discuss or take action to approve and recommend that the City Council approve facade grant to Raul Richardson's building in an amount not to exceed $5,000. Motion?
I move that we approve and recommend that the City Council approve a facade grant for Royal Richardson's building in an amount not to exceed $5,000.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
I have one question. Are they building an actual new building? So everything will be new and, okay.
And that's actually, I'm glad you brought that up because, I mean, there's no building there. It's a facade improvement. But, I mean, we've got buildings all over the place that need to be improved.
Drive down Dunaway and look on the left side of the road. Brand new building going up. It's completely covered on the outside as of today. They put the metal frame up yesterday. They poured the concrete about a week and a half ago. They will begin on the brick very soon.
And they want $5,000 for part of the parking lot, right?
No, they want $5,000 to assist them with the concrete in front of the building so that they can put the brick on the building and make it look better.
I'm good with that. Any more discussion?
I would like to point one thing to the board that I think is of some relevance with this. Different projects take different amounts of time. Golden Chick, which was somewhat larger than this, was done in just under a year. As I understand it, Mr. Peterson began discussing with Mr. Richardson this idea, within 2 weeks of his start date? So for something relatively smaller, it has taken about 20 months, or about 22 months. So that is not uncommon for projects. Some of these take forever and then finally begin to come to fruition.
All right, any more? Vote for my left.
Kyle, yes.
Foster, yes.
Butler, yes.
Damiano, no.
Merritt, yes.
Lawrence, yes.
All right, on to item 7. Discuss and/or take action to approve and recommend that the City Council approve sending ED associate and board members to sales tax workshops in an amount not to exceed $1,500. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second it.
All right. Who actually is going besides you, Walter? And what date?
So this is November 22nd, and you have a sheet in your packet that goes a little bit into this. I have it set so that as many as 6 of us total. I know that you cannot, given that it's a Friday.
I will be able to go on that one.
Oh, you will?
Yes.
Okay, then. So there's money enough that in this for myself plus 5 others. So I am not positive how many of y'all. We've brought it up. This is the 3rd meeting, I believe, that we've had it on the agenda for at least some discussion. I've had a couple signal some interest. What I would like to do is just have enough money set aside for however many intend to go, and then in a week or two, when I set it up for myself, I'm hoping by then I'll have received more feedback and I can select the exact number of people to attend. So after this meeting, I'd like a few people to email me, yes, I definitely would like and am able to attend on November 22nd.
Okay. Is it not a state requirement that the president of the board have this particular training?
I know there is mentioned that someone from here who is either an officer, or is it officer or executive director, or is it and/or? Either the executive director or the president. Yes. Yes. So, yes. And I would recommend, I mean, if anyone's on the fence, it's probably worthwhile.
All right.
It's well worth the time to go. It is.
Okie dokie. And any more discussion on it?
Nope.
Vote from the left.
Kyle, yes.
Yes.
Butler, yes.
Damiano, yes.
Merritt, yes.
Lawrence, yes.
Next one. Item 8, discuss nonprofit board session at the Help Center.
So Mr. Foster, after attending, brought to me a packet that he had been given at the Help Center for the nonprofit boards and how they run and everything. And I picked out a certain number of pages of it that I thought might be of interest to y'all. I made a few scratch marks, particularly around fundraising. EDCs don't fundraise, but that's not uncommon in nonprofits. And I think there's some interesting information in there, both in the moment for especially newer members, but also down the road. There was a revision to the bylaws early this year, could happen again, for example, a couple years down the road, and they give, among other things, some general thoughts on what ought to be in bylaws. So just as an example, something that could be thought of if the need arises in the future. And in general, just some good information, and I just thought I'd go ahead and share that.
Thank you. Any questions?
It was a very good meeting.
Very good. All right, number 9, discuss possible synchronization with City Hall on lunch hour. Walter?
So City Hall, beginning October 1st, moved to have an official lunch hour running from 12:30 to 1:30. It has been suggested to us that we synchronize. Mr. Peterson and I have discussed this, see some pros and cons both ways, positives being to be more in sync, of course, with the city, negative being that occasionally it is easier for someone to visit us around that time for lunch. We don't have a strong opinion either way, so we thought we would just let y'all take a look at that idea, both to kind of see if you have any strong feelings either way, and so if we do move in that direction, also to kind of give y'all an early heads up.
Any questions?
When you use the word sync, you mean close and open at the same time?
Yes, to move in sync with them.
Yeah,
yes.
okay. Okay.
Any questions?
None whatsoever.
All right. And I think that's all we had on the agenda today.
I'll make a motion that we adjourn.
Second.
Meeting adjourned at 5:31.
You're welcome, Ron.
Did a good job.